After 5 decades of rock and roll legend status, Steven Tyler is facing a heartbreaking chapter in his life. Once considered an unstoppable force on stage, the iconic Aerosmith frontman now finds himself confronting his most difficult decision. Yet, following a devastating diagnosis involving his vocal cords, fans have watched tour dates disappear and Tyler quietly undergo treatment, unaware of the full extent of his condition. At 76, he's finally reached a conclusion that's sending shockwaves through the rock world. Steven Tyler's story began in Yonkers, New York, though he was born in Manhattan on March 26, 1948. His mother, Susan Blancha, worked as a secretary, while his father, Victor Tallarico, was a classically trained musician and pianist who taught music. Young Steven was captivated by the way his father played the piano, and these early moments ignited his passion for music. But Victor was a strict mentor, demanding precision and discipline. Meanwhile, Steven's mother provided warmth and support. Offering a softer balance to his upbringing, struggling with severe ADHD, Tyler found traditional academics nearly impossible to navigate. Everything changed when he heard the Rolling Stones' rendition of Walking the Dog. The raw energy of rock music struck a chord deep within him. Although his father was initially hesitant about Steven's musical aspirations, he ultimately taught him the fundamentals: music theory, melody, and rhythm, skills that would later define Aerosmith's sound. Tyler's first brush with performing came in high school when he joined a band called The Strangers, later renamed Chain Reaction. They played local gigs and even opened for bigger names like the Beach Boys and the Yardbirds. These early shows provided Tyler with his first taste of the electrifying connection between performer and audience. It was during this time that he began to develop the flamboyant style that would later become his trademark. Inspired by rock icons like Mick Jagger, Roger Daltrey, and Robert Plant, Tyler created a unique stage persona, complete with flowing scarves on his microphone stand, initially used to stop it from slipping. Although he briefly attended the Leonard Quintano School for Young Professionals in New York to hone his vocal skills, Tyler ultimately shaped a singing style all his own. His instructors recognized his potential but worried about how aggressively he pushed his voice, a concern that would prove all too real decades later. After high school, Tyler bounced between bands, searching for the right chemistry. Everything changed in the summer of 1970 when he happened upon a performance by a group called the Jam Band in Sunapee, New Hampshire. Their guitarist, Joe Perry, immediately impressed him. At the time, Tyler was working at a local ice cream shop, a job set up by his parents to instill some discipline. Coincidentally, Perry was also working there as a dishwasher. That summer encounter sparked a musical partnership that would reshape American rock. Tyler approached Perry, and the two quickly discovered a shared love of bluesy, hard-hitting rock. Along with bassist Tom Hamilton, they formed a new band, Joey. Kramer soon joined as drummer, followed by rhythm guitarist Brad Whitford, who replaced Ray Tabano. They named themselves Aerosmith, a title Tyler conceived after listening to Harry Nilsson's album Aerial Ballet. Their first official performance took place on November 6, 1970, at Nipmuc Regional High School in Mendon, Massachusetts. Although the crowd was small and the payment just $50, it marked the beginning of something monumental. The band moved into a cramped apartment on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, where they lived, practiced, and clashed. Despite the tough living conditions, those early years forged the chemistry that would drive their music. Aerosmith spent 2 years grinding it out in Boston's club circuit, playing anywhere they could. Tyler's voice matured with each performance, developing a gritty yet versatile tone that made him stand out. Behind his wild exterior, he was a relentless perfectionist, pushing his bandmates and himself to deliver excellence. This obsession with precision would later fuel both their success and internal conflict. In 1972, fortune smiled when Columbia Records executive Clive Davis saw them perform at Max's Kansas City in New York. Impressed, he signed them immediately. Their self-titled debut album dropped on January 5, 1973. Though not an instant hit, the single Dream On, written by Tyler at 17, revealed the emotional power of his voice. The song would later become an anthem, showcasing the band's potential. Critics initially dismissed Aerosmith as mere Rolling Stones imitators, but Tyler was determined to carve out a distinctive sound. He pushed the band to experiment, leading to their breakout with the 1974 album Get Your Wings. Their next album, Toys in the Attic, 1975, rocketed them to superstardom with hits like Sweet Emotion and Walk This Way. By 1976, with the release of Rocks, they were among America's top rock bands. However, the band's rapid rise came with a dark side. The late 70s were marred by drug abuse, particularly between Tyler and Perry, who became known as the Toxic Twins. Tyler would later admit to spending over $2 million on substances. His drug use began impacting his vocal abilities and relationships, as cocaine dried out his vocal cords and caused nodules, growths that hinder vocal performance. Tensions boiled over in 1979 when a backstage argument in Cleveland resulted in Joe Perry leaving the band. Brad Whitford followed suit in 1981. Aerosmith tried to carry on with new members, but their commercial appeal faltered. Albums like Night in the Ruts and Rock in a Hard Place failed to resonate, and Tyler's addictions deepened. On stage, he would sometimes forget lyrics or collapse mid-performance, turning Aerosmith from icons to cautionary figures. Tyler's personal life was just as turbulent. He married model Serinda Fox in 1978, and they had a daughter, Mia, but the marriage fell apart due to his erratic behavior and substance use. Around the same time, he fathered a second daughter, Liv, with model Bebe Buell, though he didn't know it until Liv was 8. Buell had claimed Todd Rundgren was Liv's father to shield her from Tyler's chaos. A chance meeting eventually revealed the truth, and over time, Tyler forged a meaningful bond with his daughter. His turning point came in 1984 when he collapsed on stage in Springfield, Illinois. That moment pushed him into rehab. Reuniting with Perry and Whitford, Aerosmith began rebuilding. The road was grueling. Tyler relapsed more than once, but he fought hard to regain control. Their comeback began with 1987's Permanent Vacation, featuring hits like Dude, Looks Like a Lady, and Angel. Pump followed. In 1989 with Love in an Elevator and Janie's Got a Gun, and 1993's Get a Grip brought new chart toppers like Crazy, Cryin', and Amazing. Their collaboration with Run DMC in 1986 on Walk This Way bridged the gap between rock and rap, introducing Aerosmith to a new generation. Behind the scenes, Tyler worked rigorously to protect his voice, engaging vocal coaches and adopting pre-show rituals to preserve his range. Though he had relapses, he remained largely committed to sobriety. The 1990s and 2000s saw Aerosmith maintain their live dominance, with Tyler defying age and injury. Whether breaking a shoulder in 2009 or losing teeth in a 2011 fall, he always came back swinging. In 2010, Tyler joined American Idol as a judge, earning mixed reactions. Critics called it selling out, but Tyler embraced the role, seeing it as a bridge to younger fans. His memoir, Does the Noise in My Head Bother You?, detailed his battles with addiction, hepatitis C, and the physical toll of his wildlife. Despite it all, his voice remained resilient until recently. In 2023, Aerosmith announced their final tour, Peace Out, a farewell trek across North America. But during rehearsals, Tyler began struggling to hit notes. Initial assumptions blamed fatigue, but just before their first show, disaster struck. His voice cracked painfully during a high note. Doctors initially diagnosed a vocal strain, but after further tests, they revealed the shocking truth. Tyler had fractured his larynx. At 75, this rare and serious injury could mean the end of his singing career. Though other artists have recovered from similar issues, Tyler's age and history made his prognosis uncertain. The band delayed the tour to early 2024, hoping for a miracle. But by December 1st, 2023, Aerosmith issued a heartbreaking statement. The tour was officially canceled. Tyler's voice, they said, might not return, at least not in the form fans had known and loved. They thanked fans for 5 decades of loyalty, promising full refunds but offering no further performances. The response was overwhelming. Social media filled with tributes, photos, and stories from lifelong fans. Fellow musicians shared their support, praising Tyler's influence and legacy. Though the band hasn't officially retired, the cancellation marks a likely end to Aerosmith's era of live shows. Even amid this difficult farewell, one thing remains clear. Steven Tyler and Aerosmith leave behind a legacy few can rival. From chaos to redemption, rebellion to reinvention, they redefined American rock. And now, they take their final bow.